Hello, my name is Rosie Beard. I'm a British-born painter that's based in Valencia, Spain. And the date is the 8th of the 2nd, 2025. So a little bit about my background. I was a trained illustrator to begin with, and I worked a lot with textiles. So I was scouted in my second year of university at London College of Fashion, and I was in the fashion industry for quite a while, being a couture embroideress. Then I felt like, as much as I enjoyed that work, I felt like I wanted to kind of go back to my own sort of creativity and painting. Painting was always my biggest kind of passion and devotion, really. So I decided to leave the fashion industry and become a painter. I feel the crossover from being an illustrator to then being in the fashion industry to now being a painter has had a profound impact in the way I produce my work. I still very much use textiles in my work and other techniques, and I feel like personally, you can learn so much from different creative industries, and you get exposed to many different techniques, which you can carry out through into your creative processes. And I think this kind of molds the way you can work and see things in a bit of a different perspective. My upbringing definitely had an impact on my creativity. I was in what you could say a conventional family unit. I had a mum, dad, sister. However, my upbringing was very unconventional. My mum is an oil painter and my dad is a jazz musician. So creativity was always the most important aspect of our kind of family. And we were very much pushed to express ourselves in as many ways as possible. So I was in dance classes, acting school, playing multiple instruments, obviously painting, drawing, creating sculptures, you name it. My mum and dad were all for it, and it was definitely a very kind of colourful and fun and free-thinking upbringing. So because of this, it kind of gave me the basis to being able to express myself how I wanted, and the freedom of that was really beautiful. My biggest influences are probably more closer to home and people who have mentored me. Piers Atkinson, I worked for him for many years in his studio and doing the couture embroidery for him. He has a highly artistic vision and can turn anything into a hat. His creative processes are second to none. And he taught me so much. He belongs to a creative family from Dame Sandra Rhodes with her insanely beautiful patterns and bright colours, and another artist, Andrew Logan, who I was lucky enough to work for him on his show Miss Alternative World, and he's otherworldly kind of sculptures, and his kind of making the impossible impossible for me was so massively influential to the way I see things, and it kind of got me excited about kind of kind of being able to do what you want within art. Another big influence, aside from kind of my mentors, would be outsider art. I love outsider art. It's so unconventional. Some of it can be really raw. A lot of outsider artists haven't been trained, so you don't get these kind of rules that are instilled in us. And I think it produces really beautiful, amazing pieces of artwork, sculpture, video, you name it. In more kind of contemporary artist, I would have to say Julie Verhoeven is an artist that massively kind of like influences me. She's an artist that crosses over from fashion to illustration to art, and I love kind of all of her aspects of her kind of creative vision, and I think she's highly talented. Kind of more older kind of artists, I would have to say George Groth. I like this kind of craziness to his work. Obviously kind of household names like Francis Bacon, and yeah, Otto Dix, Toulouse-Lautrec, Aubrey Beardsley, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. I have so many influences, so many. I could sit here all day and talk about influences. At the moment, what I'm focusing on is kind of strengthening the depth of my artwork, actually. I am working in its otherworldliness. I use kind of a alternative technique to my painting, as in I kind of meditate when I'm painting and emotionally kind of feel the colour. This sounds very weird, but I kind of sense the colour I use, and I start seeing kind of things, visions that I want to put onto the painting. So I'm strengthening my spiritual connection with my artwork. Secondly is I'm actually going back to lots of old paintings I had and reworking on them, building an archive, hopefully maybe for a solo exhibition at the end of the year. Let's see. I believe as an artist, we face many challenges within different aspects and situation of our creative journeys. And for me, this is forever changing. At the moment, my main kind of challenge is I'm a single mum of two beautiful baby boys. And so my greatest challenge at the moment is time and devotion, actually. So obviously my boys need my devotion and attention, as they should do. So this is now being shared very much with my painting. In some weird way, I'm actually painting more than I ever did. And maybe that's because this challenge that I face makes me more proactive in finding time to create, and also creating in kind of 2 hour bit sections. So instead of having like a whole day in the studio where you can sit back and stare at a painting all day and kind of ponder, now it's a very different way I'm working, because I have two baby boys. So my energy shifts between my creativity and the nurturing mother figure. There's so much I would say to my younger self, too much actually, but this is our life journey and we learn lessons. But one of the main things that I would probably say is just get on and do it, because there was so many times where I would pause or miss the moment or have so much fear. I think now I've lost that fear, which is fantastic, because, you know, it was such a shame, because when you're younger, you have so much energy and you you don't have so many things to worry about, and this kind of fear held me back a lot. So I would definitely say stop pausing, get on and do it, and don't be scared, as you only have kind of one opportunity to do things at certain times of your life. Unconventional mediums and techniques, I would say, would be my textiles, for sure. I was never formally trained as a textile artist, so completely self-taught. And with my kind of process, I kind of completely ignored any kind of formal techniques that should be used within textiles. So it kind of gave my work that kind of very fun, quirky, naive look, which became quite popular with obviously peers who I was working for and some other fashion designers who used my designs, textile designs, and now which I've taken into my artwork. I've produced quilts and kind of wall hangings and things, and I think that kind of rawness and that kind of unfinishedness kind of gives it its edge. Secondly, which I touched upon in a previous question, is the way I kind of spiritually meditate when I paint. So when this is quite kind of complicated to explain, however, I'm a spiritualist medium, so I kind of, how I paint is I kind of sit there and I see visions of what kind of appears on the paper. So I kind of meditate and I feel like I need to suddenly use a red, or I see a face appear, or figures. Kind of, it's my kind of otherworldliness, which I kind of try and portray onto my paintings. And it's highly emotive. So it also depends on my emotions that day, of what I kind of draw from the energy around me and the energy that I feel. The third aspect, which is kind of unconventional, is I like the equilibrium between the grotesque and the beautiful. I find the grotesque really interesting, and I like to see the flip side of beauty. And I try and add that into my artwork as well, because I like the yin and yang element of something being grotesquely beautiful. I hope that makes sense. But yes, I do see kind of more kind of unconventional beauty in things. For me, music is super emotive. So absolutely, I use music to enhance my paintings. So depending on my mood, I kind of choose the genre and go with it. And it kind of spurs me on to create that kind of feeling that I want to portray. However, lately, I'm finding myself creating more and more in silence and enjoying that kind of space that silence gives you. But on the other hand, I don't know whether that's because I have 2 toddlers that run around me screaming all day. So maybe that's why. But who knows? I'm enjoying silence right now. Oof, there's been so many amazing reactions to my artwork and so many negative reactions to my artwork. I think probably, honestly, one of the most kind of heartfelt reaction was when I was very, very, very young and starting out in the industry, and I was scouted in my second year. I've also said that at the beginning. And this was the first time I really felt like I was seen, and my storytelling within my illustration was seen. It was very much fairy tale like and taken from folk art, and before it never really was quite understood up until this point. And that point, it was Piers, like I mentioned before, Piers Atkinson. He saw my work and immediately he was like, I want her to work for me. So this probably was a turning point within my career, and the first time I felt like my vision was heard. I think really, honestly, it's more the process of my work than the outcome, which is more important. Maybe I would like people to take away from my art the feelings, the emotions, maybe even the story that I tried to convey in that painting or paintings, and some curiosity. But really, at the end of the day, truly, it doesn't matter to me. I think because if we painted for other people, what's the point in painting? And so I hope people maybe just see the honesty in that. So this is me, Rosie Beard. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for interviewing me. I very much appreciate it and your time. My socials are at Rosie Beard Art for Instagram, the same for TikTok, and I have a website, www.rosiebeard.com, if you would like to check out my artwork. And once again, thank you.